And we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back. Hey. Shiva Skula show. We never left over here. We got the Bebanetor, not knowing where she is, but she might have to come back and help me with this stand because a yid made it too tight and now the phone doesn't go in it. But until then, without further ado, we're Misteches Avodah Zarah Nun Gimel Amid Aleph, and we're at the mishnah, shteigs. You know what we say when we're at a new mishnah? In Yeshiva's Gula show, we say new mishnah. Who this? Shalom Aleichem Eichi. Big schuz. A big schuz. Don't do the Freemason symbol or the 666. Shiva's Gula show. We got the shin. So third base to make the everyone go inside. But it's okay. It's okay. I also do that sometimes because it means like A-okay. But it also has 666. In the very beginning, during the beginning of lockdown, Yeshiva's Gula show, I accidentally made like some like I covered an eye or something. I was like, oh yo, you shouldn't do that. It's the Illuminati symbol. And I was like, and how far we have come in the sugya. So shkayach to the day ones and shkayach to the new recruits along the way. We shteig in da Yeshiva's Gula show. I have to hold the phone because the thing, but it's okay. Maybe a savior will come and fix the phone holder. But for now, we're perfect, you know. Zog the Heilige Mishnah. So first of all, I hope everyone had a good Shabbos. Shteig sugyas, so that our family is left free, because ein lecha ben chayrin el misha isik b'tayra. So she was going to show us an extra hasmada in these times of an ace milchame ratzon, and we should be zeichet to start this mishnah and complete this mishnah and gemaras and start and complete gemaras, many different sugyas. It's Hashem. Zok the Mishnah. Ketzad mevatla. So we've been learning for the past couple of weeks. Oh, Zalman. So Malay. I can't. It can't work. This thing. It fell to the floor, but it's too tight. I was supposed to close it on the computer, on the phone, but it's like old school, you know, just you may do, you know, where he could put his phone. Ketzad mevatla. So we've been learning for the past few weeks about bittul, about canceling this idolatry, and then a non-Jew can do it, but a Jew can't cancel the idol. And we've been discussing different aspects and different elements and what could be an idol, what can't be an idol. What's the din of the tamsheh, of the different vessels, and now we're finally getting to ketzad mevatla. Well, how do you cancel these idols? Kata rosh ozna, rosh chotma, rosh etzba. So first, if you cut off the head of the ear, or the head of the nose, top of the nose, or the top of the finger. So it says pachza apa bishlo chisra batla. So if you're paiches, even if it didn't if nothing went out of it. It didn't make a dent even, but pachsa. So let's see what pachsa is. Even if it's not missing anything, is mevatel it. Rock b'faneh, if he spit in front of it. Hishtim b'faneh, if he pitched in front of it. Gerara, if he dragged it. Zarek bas, that's all he threw poo. Harizo eno mevatla. It is not mevatel it. Oh, shkayach. It is not mevatel. It is not mevatel the Avodah Zarah if you do one of those actions that shows a lack of respect to it. Machra o mishkana. So if you sell it, or if you be careful with the thing. If you sell it, or if you put it as collateral, if you sell it or you put it as collateral, so Rebbe said that is batal, and the Chachamim say it is not batal. So that is the Mishnah, and now we got the stand. Ishkayach Rebetzin Eve.
Is it too close?
No, it's perfect. Okay, so zigs. When we're thinking about canceling the idol, the first thing the Mishnah tells us is that if you damage it, if you cut off its nose, cut off its hands, cut off its fingers, you're mevatel it. Pichsa, Rashi says, Pichsa miacha bekornas. You took a hammer and you thwarted it.
I thought it doesn't actually become an idol till
you use it as an idol. This was an idol. This was a full-fledged idol. A full-fledged idol, we want to cancel it. How do we cancel it? Now, a yid can't cancel it. Only an atcha can cancel it. So how do you do it? So either you smash it, and you cut off part of its, you make a dent in it, you cut off top of its ear, top of its nose, top of its finger, or pachta, and Rashi says pachta, you smash it with a hammer. But it lo chisra shteig. You smash it with a hammer and it goes dong 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 dong. Says the Mishnah, even if it's not, it doesn't make any type of damage in this
visual damage.
It's still once you smack it on that. Oh, so we see. Oh, you don't need visual damage, right? Because if you need visual damage, then when you smack it on that. So that's what it seems, right? But then the Mishnah says, but if you spit in front of it, pitch in front of it, drag it, or throw poo at it, it's not batal. So it's not just enough to do anything. It seems that there's a certain type. We have to see what exactly is the mechanism here that cancels it. And then there's an argument. It says if you sell it, or if you put it as collateral, right?
After you nullified it?
No, it's still an idol. Does selling it make it lose its status, or does putting it as collateral? Rashi says, first of all, garura b'tish sachuv v'holed, b'tit sachuv v'holed. You dragged it in. Oh, so it says you dragged it. You're dragging it in like cement or in mud. So eno batla the lefum shaita ratat aleh v'hadar balachla. So first of all, Rashi tells us the thing that we already know, last of all, actually, that all of these bitulim is talking about how the idolater cancels the idol, because we know that he can't cancel it. When he does this thing where he pitches in front of it or he drags it, right? It's because he was mad at the Avodah Zarah for that one day. The Avodah Zarah didn't help him win his fantasy league. So he was mad for one day, so he pitches in front of the idol. But he's still going to worship it the next day. Okay, so we have to see what's the mechanism. So if he tries to smash it, he breaks it. So then, like, it's no longer he's gonna worship it anymore. It's like, okay, he's done. He's canceling it. But if he just does something which is like it's he pees on it or whatever, he can always clean it up. It doesn't have to do any permanent damage. It's not batal. So if the intent was to do permanent damage, it's batal. If the intent is not to do permanent damage, it's not batal. But then when you sell it or you leave it as a collateral, so maybe the machloka is Rebbe and the Chacham, and Rebbe says is batal, the Chacham says not batal, canceled. Maybe the machloka is Rebbe and the Chachamim is it considered that like you're damaging this item by selling it or by putting it as collateral? So ask the Gemara. The Gemara asks, Kilo Chizra b'may bitla. When it wasn't missing, what would the bottle be? Right? If you smash it on the head, but nothing happens to it, so then what's the bittul? That smashes in its head. He says the kilkil surasa. So it's not missing, but its nose is where his eyes should be, and his chin is where his ears should be. And so you messed up his face, even though it didn't lose anything. That's what Rashi said. Not one of the Javaminim, but I like a good cantaloupe. I have to double check with the master. So if you spit in front of it, you piss in front of it. From where do we know these words? That is not batal. Amar Chizki, Amar Gra, says this Yal to your pasuk v'hayaki your av v'hitkat seif v'galal b'malcho v'eloho av v'pana l'mayla. So, oh man, this is a serious puzzle. Rivka, can you look up Yeshayahu? Oh, it's following along. All right, what is it in English?
And it shall come to pass that when he shall be hungry, he shall fret and curse his king and his God and turn his face upward.
Okay. It says after that, the Ela Aretz Yabid, now look at the land. V'hine Sarah v'chashecha, it's narrow and dark. The Gomer. Ta'abal Gav, the Kalal b'malko, even though he cursed his king, Veloav, and his God, Upana l'mayla, and he looks up, El Aretz Yabid, to look at the land. Okay, so now we gotta see the Rashi. Schligs is like, wait a second over here. That made no sense. Please be patient. I'm just looking at the Rashis over here. So, Vahi. So, the Minane Mile, the Hadar Balachla. So, okay, that's actually so Geshmak. Okay, so we learned the Gemara our way, and we're like, Minane Mile, where did you get these words? And I was like, I guess, like, where did he get this word? Like, how do we know that it's not mevatel? So actually, no. That's not what it's saying. And then we read these psukim. We're like, well, this psukim didn't make any sense for us. Now, if we didn't have Rashi, we would have looked to the Gemara again. We would say, okay, what is, according to what those sentences mean? What question could it be answering of Minahani Milay? From where do we get these words? But we saw it in Rashi, and it's now it makes sense. Now it's going to make sense. So Minahani Milay, where these words, the Hadar Palachla. How do we know that? Yeah, he's gonna be mean. He's gonna be angry at his God. This God, this idolater, right? You know, he bet big bucks on the Yankees. This guy, and he's angry at his idolater. And so he takes his Selem of Derek Jeter, and he pishes on it, and he drags it in the mud. The Gemara says it's not batal. Why? The Mishnah says it's not batal. Why is it not batal? Because this guy,
It's temporary.
exactly, this guy is gonna go back the next day and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Jeter." Like the Bronx Bombers. You know, the Bronx Bombers. I can never be mad at him. I'm walking here. So how do we know that he goes back and worships them? Well, says Chezkiah, we have two psukim. The first big pasuk is the Haya, and it was Ki Av. They got hungry with his Katzab, and they got mad. V'kalal Malcho, and they cursed their king Uve Eloho and their God. This is a pasuk in Yeshayahu. Hey, Rivka read the pasuk in English. Upana lemaila, and so they look above. So even though they get mad and they curse their God, but in the end they look above. Right? Is that Rashi? Says Rashi. He says, "Oh, how did you do this to me, statue of Mickey Mantle? You know, I'm gonna take a dump on your head." Right? And so he's mevazeh. He gets mad at his king, right? And then it's upana l'mayla, libo l'mayla b'lishamayim. But then he's like, "Oh, sorry, how could I do that? The Mick, you know." And so he says, "No, I'm going to continue being a Yankee fan, aka idolatry." Met fan also, by the way. All sports, all the Shiva sports. Dresden Circus. Anyways, so Upana Lamaila, Rav Aret, and then the next pasuk says, which is the pasuk is the very next pasuk in Isaiah. Can you read us that pasuk in English?
And he shall look to the earth and behold distress and darkness, the gloom of anguish and outspread thick darkness.
Nice. So Agamar of the Gomer it. And it says he looks to the land, and there's Sarah, but it says Sarah was narrowness, distress, tsar, and darkness. There's Avagav the Kala Malko. Even though he curses his king and his God, Ubana Lamaila El Eretz Yavi. So Bana Lamaila El Eretz Yavi. Closer for Oved Avodah Zarah. Oh, he looks up, but in the end he keeps his eyes focused on the earth, aka worshiping idols. And so that we see that even though he took a poop on the owl, he was just mad for one day. You know?
When you're saying he looks up, he's in search of
That's what he thinks, right? He thinks like, "Oh, look, I'm gonna look for Abishter," but then in the end
even though he cursed his king and cursed his God, and even though he eventually looked up and said Abishter, at the end of the day, right afterwards, he looked back at the earth and he curses the earth, because he ultimately returns to Avodah Zarah, thinking the earth is the source of all of his problems and not his own Avodah Zarah.
Very good, Reverend. Machra o Mishgana, he sold it, or he put it as collateral. Rabbi Omer Batil. So Rabbi says it's Batil, and the Chacham says it's not Batil. We said from ourselves learning the Mishnah that it could be that if his intent is to break the idol, then if he intends to break the idol, then the idol is canceled. So even if he just mashes around his face like putty, you know, like one of those stretchy
And how do we
toys.
determine his intent?
Well, if he hits it with the hammer and he just mashes his head, his head and his eye goes into his chin, we say that that's good enough that he's trying to cancel.
Actually, he's walking around with the hammer, it should be enough,
Right. So now the Gemara is going to say, the end of the Mishnah says that if you sell it, or if you leave it as collateral, so Rabbi says it's batal, and the Chacham says it's not batal. I was thinking to say like this, Rebbitzin and Zig and Schligs and DVJ and AG. I was thinking to say like this. His intent is to destroy it, and that's what makes the idol, right? A hit that destroys, and that's what makes the idol canceled if he does it. So then the Machlokas Rebbe and the Chachamim could be, does selling the idol, does it damage it? Right? I mean, secondhand idols over here, you can get 10 for $11. A brand new idol, never been worshipped, that's already like a different Misa and more money. So maybe Rebbe says, yeah, you made it, you damaged this idol. And the Chachamim say, but did he damage the idol? Okay, that's how I wanted to learn the Machlokas in the Mishnah before we saw the Gemara. Let's see, now the Gemara can talk about it. Machra o Mishgana, Rabbi Arbeto. So Zeiri Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba Amar Rav. Chet Aleph Machlokas. Bitzorav Avodah Zarah. Aval Bitzorav Yisrael Tivriago Bitol. Okay, so there's a Machlokas. Zeiri Amar Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba Amar Rav. So what's really going on here is this is the Machlokas of the first generation Amoraim. It's Rav. I came just in time for the Machlokas. So we're talking about if you sell the idol, does it cancel the idol? So there's a Machlokas Rabbi Yochanan and Rav. One was in Eretz Yisrael, one was Rav was in Babylon. The first generation of Amoraim, and they're duking it out over here. One of them says that the machlokas between Rebbe and the Chachamim of if you sell it or leave it as collateral, is it batal like Rebbe or not batal like the Chachamim? That machlokas is b'tzoref oved Chachamim. That's if the tzoref, maybe the one who forms the idol. We have to see exactly what that is. Aval b'tzoref Yisrael tivriako bitol. But he says, no, the Torah of Israel, if the Jew is doing the tzrifa, the refinement, maybe, so then everyone says, Betul Chadamer says, no. And the machlokas is B'tzorah of Israel, if the Israelite refined it. Ibailu, right? So that's the machlokas. What is the machlokas about? The machlokas about what the machlokas is about. Is it talking about if the refiner of this idol was done by a yid, or is the machlokas when the refining is done by a guy, but if a yid does it, everyone says it's bittul if you sell it. Ibailu b'sorv Yisrael machlokas aval sorv oviglam divriakolo bittul o dilma bein b'zeh machlokas. So we're saying, okay, well, if according to the opinion that says that the machlokas is sorv Yisrael, that if the Jew is the one who's soref, then you have the machlokas Rebbe and the Comin in the Mishnah. So in that case, soref Yisrael machlokas. So they ask the soref Yisrael machlokas. So, but what about if the idolatry does it? According to the one who says the machlokas in the Mishnah was, if the Jew was the soref first, then what is the pshat when the idolater is the soref? And we're going to get that word. We have to see Rashi though. About servo gum to be a low bitol. So everyone says that if the idolater doesn't do it, it's bitol. Odilma Bain or you're going to tell me that this is machlokas whether or not it was a Jew or a non-Jew who was soref, who refined it. Now the Gemara is going to start trying to figure out what the answer is to that question. But first, I think it is prudent and imperative that we check Rashi to see what we're talking about exactly. So the Iri mishmei Rabbi Yechon, Rabbi Yirmiyah mishmei Rabbi Shneid. So it's pligi b'tayim at the mesnis, right? They're arguing. Oh, remember I said that I think that the reason of the Mishnah is this. So then the end of the Mishnah. Sorry, these Amoraim are arguing what is the reason of the Mishnah. These Amoraim, right? Stam lokhe madeches sorfimim. So most people who buy metal do it to the trove. I was kind of saying that. I was saying to refine. I was saying to form the trove is to form the metal, right? So, but still, what does that mean? So first, there's a machlokas, and we don't know who's saying what, right? We don't know who's saying what in the machlokas, but the machlokas is what are they arguing about in the Mishnah when Rabbi says it's bittul if you sell it, and Rabbi Yochanan says, and the Chachamim say it's not bittul. Okay, the machlokas Rabbi Yochanan and Rav. Machlokas b'tzorev ovei kochavim. So one of them says that the machlokas is in the tzorev ovei kochavim. B'tzorev ovei shemakra ovei kochavim l'tzorev chaver. So he sold it to his friend who forms it, who connects it. Right? They connect the pieces. Sonny does it. What's it called when a person does
A welder?
welder? Nice. So his friend is a welder. Hazam ga'ami Rabbanan to lo bach. That's what Rabbanan say it was not mevatel. The zavar hamocher kevan to lokach ze ovei kochavim hu palach la v'lo tavar la. So he's gonna think that he sold it to a welder. But if it's a welder of an idolater, sells it to an idolater, so then he's gonna know, oh, this is my idolater friend worshiping this idol. I'm not gonna break it, and so that's why selling it is not mevatel. Aval makra ovei kochavim l'tzorech Yisrael. But if the idolater sold it, what does it mean l'tzorech Yisrael? That the idolater sold it to a Jewish welder. So the Jew is gonna battle it for sure. Misdama battle, says Rashi. Of course he's gonna battle. V'makra ovei kochavim l'tzorech Yisrael. Misdama battle midaite from his right. The meidayada dehai tabarla. So it's not that the Jew is being mevatel. We know that the Jew can't mevatel it. The guy, once he's selling it to a Jewish welder, he's like, all right, see you, Josh Tuesday. He's saying that, oh, this is gone. Right? The Jew is gonna break it for sure.
At that point, you weren't breaking it, you were building it.
Building it something different.
You bought raw metal, right?
Right. Exactly. It was smashing it up. One of the guys says, Rav or Rav Yochanan, that no, the machlokas that if you sell it, is that enough to cancel it? That's talking about if the idolater sold this metal idol to a Jewish welder, to an Israelite welder. So I got shteig. All right, we got 15 minutes left. I can tell by the time. I'm just mathy like that. Well, I'm still good. I still like to get the DVJ warnings.
And shteig.
No, the sky. Bro, Ragin, there's Israel background again. Okay. So the one who said that no, the argument is whether it is if it goes to a Jewish welder. But so then what does that guy hold about the non-Jewish welder? So do they say non-Jewish welder everyone says is obviously forbidden? Or do they also have the argument by the non-Jewish welder? And so that's what we're going to try to figure out right now.
But just because he's making something, how do we know it's gonna be an idol?
No, he bought an idol.
Oh, I thought he bought raw metal and now he's sculpting the idol.
Buying the idol.
A pre-existing idol.
Right. And one person says selling it is enough to cancel it. That's Rabbi. And the Chachamim say selling it is not enough to cancel. That's the Chachamim. So the Gemara says like this. Wait a second. When they have this argument about selling it, who are they selling it to? One guy says the argument is when they're selling it to another guy, right? Maybe he canceled it before he gave it to him. Maybe he did it. Maybe he's like, yo, like, give me to another idolater. He's gonna worship it. But everyone agrees that if this guy sells it to a Jew, so it would be batal. And then the other guy says no. The machlokas that they're having, Rebbe and the Chachamim, if they sell it, is it bittul or not? That's talking about if you sell it to a Jew. That if he sells it to a Jew, is the idolater going to be like, yo, I give up hope on this idol. I'm canceling it because I'm giving it to a Jew. Or is he like, I know some shiesty Jews, you know? So the Gemara says, okay, well, according to that second opinion, that the argument of Rebbe and the Chachamim, if you sell an idol, doesn't cancel it, is talking about if the idolater sells it to a Jew, then there's an argument. What does that opinion believe if the idolater sells it to an idolater? That's the question. Masechus Avodah Zarah has been so lamdish lately. You know? Baruch Hashem. Tashma.
Come and listen.
Tashma.
Come in here. I think I did it
Good,
backwards.
good. Yeah, a little backwards, but it's all good. So Tashma is a very important thing in the Gemara. When the Gemara says Tashma, it's like, come listen, come here. We're going to now tell you, we're going to figure out the question we just asked, Tashma. Come listen to the answer, right? Ta means to come, and Shma means to listen. The Amar Rebbe, that Rebbe says, Nirin Dvarai, Kishamogra lechavala, V'divrei chaverai, Shemachra leovda. So Rebbe says, it seems that my words, my opinion, that it was Mevadel, that's if he's selling it to someone who's going to smash it up, right? Selling it to Tommy's railroad tamping, Phineas Gage, need metal store. So then Rebbe says, okay, it's obviously bottom, but if you're selling it to a different idolatry house, so then it's not bottom.
Idol repair.
The idol repair, yeah. You know, like the priests, they rape a kid here and then they move him around to different part of the country, and they just, you know, the Roman Catholics. So the idols also, you know, the idol was in Kansas City. They lost the Super Bowl, and so they said, "I'll get this idol out of here. Let him go worship this in Philly."
Is when it says chavala, does that mean destruction, or is it like chavila, like a package?
No, destruction. L'chayra. So, but let's see. Shteigs. Good question, because look what the Gemara is about to ask. The Gemara
My
says,
lechava. Oh.
my chava. Hold on, I'm just looking for the plague. My lechava. What does it mean, lechava? Umay le'ovda. What does it mean to worship it? Ilema.
If you want, you could say.
Nice. Ilema, if you're going to say. Ilema is if you're going to say.
If
If
you're
you
gonna
want, you
say.
can say that's ibaisema. Ilema, if you're going to say. The Kabbalah is the Kabbalah Mamish, that to destroy is to destroy Mamish. Le'ovda Mamish, to worship in Mamish. My daima demanda amar bittul, my daima demanda amar lo bittul. You're saying, obviously, you're selling it to destroy. Then how could the Comin say, oh, not canceled? And when you're selling it to another idol, you're selling it to the idol store across the block. How could anyone say not that it is bittul, right? So it can't be that it's talking about Chabala Mamish, and it can't be that it's talking about La'ovda Mamish, to worship it, really to worship it. That can't be what it means. Elalav, rather, doesn't it have to be Chabala Lamisha Azir the Chabala? That for destruction is that he's selling it to someone who's gonna destroy it, selling it to Igor Idol Breaker. There's not so much left to the imagination what he's gonna do with it. Umanu Torif Israel Le'ovda. And so what does it mean that who is it? That someone who's going to break you? What is this? The Chavla is talking to selling it to a yid, to a Jewish welder. Le'ovda, to someone who's going to worship it. You got Tommy's railroads need metal, and he's like put a filler, like all metal things I'm buying, right? And so people come over and they bring all the metal things in their house, and he's going through. He's like, oh, baseball bat, tambourine. Saxophone. Oh, idol. He's like, oh, I'm gonna worship it. He's like, oh, this is a great day, right? He's going to worship it. Bishmamina, and we infer from here, Bain Bazeh Ubain Bazeh Machloket. So when it says that to destruction, Rebbe said, I understand for me with destruction, meaning for me with the Torah of Yisrael, right? And me, and I understand my friends when it's talking about someone's going to worship it, and that we said that was code for a Soref Akum, for an idolatrous welder. So we see that the Machlokas is both when there's a Jewish welder and when there's an idolatrous welder. So we see that the one who says that the Machlokas is when there's a Jewish welder also believes that there's a Machlokas when there's an idolatrous welder. Says the Gemara, lo, not Halchi Kamar. Here is what it's saying. Amar Rebbe says, Nirin Devarai Lechaverai Bishamachra Lechabala. Oh, he's saying like this. My words seem correct to my friends, to the Chachamim, when he sends it for destruction. And what does that mean for destruction? Manu, that's when he sends it to a Jewish welder, the Torah of Israel. Because even my friends are not cholek on me when it's except when it's sold to an idolatrous welder. Aval lechavala moduli. But for chavala, when it comes to destroying it, meaning selling it to a yid, they agree with me. So the machlokas would only be, so there's a way that you can learn Rebbe's words that, like the first guy who said that the machlokas is with an idolatrous welder, but everyone agrees that if it's a Jewish welder, it's fine. It's not idolatry. Okay. Meisvei, the Gemara asks another question.
4 minutes.
It's 4 minutes?
Yeah.
Meisvei, the Gemara asks another question. When you take pieces of metal from the idolater, and you find, right? You bought a bunch of metal and you find, oh my God, there's an idol. If he didn't yet give money, Mashach Yachzir. So even if he like takes it, he pulls it towards him. But if he didn't pay him any money, he can go back and say this deal is canceled. In Misha doesn't matter, he already gave the money, Mashach, and he took it, right? Yachzir the Amel, he has to get rid of it, throw it into the Dead Sea. If you're gonna say it stems, the story of Israel, the machlokas is with the story of Israel. The machlokas is with a grafter, with a welder of an Israelite. Machlokas, right? Obviously, the story of Israel. Machlokas is the story of Israel. Mani, who would this be? This would be the Rabbana, the Chachamim. The story of Ovei. But if you said, like, according to the first guy, either Rav or Rabbi Yehuda, that the machlokas is with the idolater welder, but with the Torah Yisrael, everyone says betel. Hamani, who would be the one who teaches this thing, because here it seems clear that the Israelite is buying from the guy, and if he didn't give Maus, if he didn't pay it yet, so he can go back, but if not, he makes a kinyan on it and he has to throw it away. So if you're saying that the machlokas, okay, then this brisa that we brought is according to the Chachamim, right? Who says that if it's selling it to a Jew, machlokas. Let me finish this. So who would be that doesn't make any sense according to either one. Shani Adam the Adaite the Grutos Zavin, Adaite was Zavin. Saying no, you can even say this is according to the other guy. It's just that this is a different case, because in this case his intent was to buy broken metal. It wasn't that he was intending to buy an idol. And so since his intent to buy broken metal, so then it's like a different intent for the idolater that's selling it. Tomorrow we have to go back from this selling and buying and see it with the Rashi. But we saw up to dots, and then there's a little bit more in this mishnah. The Eresh will give us the Dishmaya. Gayach Rabbeinu's Nayach on 11 shiurim out of 11 possibilities of wartime shteig. We went right into the Gemara today. We still didn't have enough time to finish the Rashi. But hey, that's fine.